Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Jewel Diamond Taylor. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Lionel Richie singing a song that introduced Jewel Diamond Taylor to Dr. Danita Applewhite. Take a minute and listen to the words. Try to find it. I don't have to ask you whether or not you remember that song.
No, that was such a powerful moment. And I love the lyrics. It just speaks so much, speaks volumes, how powerful love is, how powerful hope and faith are to our journey. It always will find a way.
Always, always. And I remember sitting at, I believe it was the Department of Water and Power in Los Angeles, California. And you were speaking. And this was
Isn't
at least
that something?
40 years ago almost. We're really,
I believe it because I've been on the, yeah, it's probably 30 years. I've been doing this for 40 years.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been 30. It's somewhere over 30, that's for sure. But one of the things that I'm so glad about, Jewel Diamond Taylor, is that you gave us your presence today as one of the most busiest motivational speakers that I know, that are out there really trying to make change happen, and make change happen in such a positive way and such a loving way. And I think that that's why I've been so attached to you for all these years, is because I don't usually find too many people in the field that really understand that love is the key.
Yes.
So when we talk about, I remember, I believe it was one of your first books, Don't Give Up. Am I right?
No, that probably was like the fourth or fifth one.
Oh, okay.
We had You're Too Blessed to Be Stressed, Success Gems, Sister Friends, Pearls of Wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want them to get them all. Buy them all. That's all I'm going to say. Buy them all. They're all available on Amazon and a few other places, Barnes and Nobles. You can find Dr. Jewel, Reverend Dr. Jewel Diamond Taylor's books out there. And so, but I remember Don't Give Up, I guess, is the theme of where I'm coming from today. And that's why I wanted you to say something positive to the many, many service providers that are out there that unfortunately are right now needing some restoration of hope. Okay. And when we see going to the most ugliest situation, which service providers were in a van in Gaza and lost their lives due to a bomb. Here they are just trying to, again, share the love,
do the work,
knowing love will find a way. And then we come to the United States and we have the same service providers doing the same job, getting the food boxes out and the clothing stores open. And they run into many of the same problems. Maybe it's not the bombing of the car, but it is the loss of hope in the system of things, in this system of things. And so I wanted you to let us know, give us some tips on how to actually go through this and build the resilience that we need in these war and pandemic times. We're still in pandemic times. We're still dealing with different things that are coming up. Every time you turn on the news, just about you hear about a different dis-ease that's out there. We're going to kick the dis out of, I kicked the dis out of dis-ease. I kicked the dis out of disadvantage, and I kicked the dis out of disability.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
But I want to teach other people to do that, especially other service providers. What can you tell us?
So you're doing it so well. And I think that we sometimes want to finish things. We want closure. We want our actions to have meaning, and they do. But there's a reality in the human experience that we can't control, but we live in a mental, spiritual world. And so our thoughts, our
Mm-hmm.
ability to love, to overshadow the hate, our ability to show up, our ability to sacrifice, our ability to say, no matter what, I'm going to stand for love. No matter what people are saying, no matter how much hate is thrown my way, I'm going to stand for love. That's easier said than done, but there are people doing it every day. We don't know their names. We don't see them in the news, but they're doing it. It's just like when you think about the history of segregation and racism. There's so many people shoulders that we're standing on because of their bravery, their courage, their determination, because of their sacrifices. Some never got to be 20, some never got to be 30, some never got to be 40. But the accumulative effect of love, the collective mindset, you see,
Yes.
it's not going to be an individual win. Of course, we mourn for those whose lives were shortened, but then we celebrate them because they had the courage to stand for truth and love. You see, all of us are going to stand for something no matter what, whether it's our children, um, whatever it is, but they made a choice to stand for something. We honor that. There's tremendous amount of respect. I don't know if I could do that. So in my corner of the world, I find, what is my garden? What am I supposed to be doing?
Okay.
Am I being consistent? Am I operating from a space of love and integrity? Because one of the things I found, Dr. Applewhite, is that because I stand for compassion, because I stand for being a sacred, safe place for people to heal, that means I'm going to attract people that are hurting. I'm going to attract people that need some strength from me. So do I say, oh, I don't want to do this, this is exhausting? No, because I stand for something, I'm going to draw into my sphere people that need the gift that I have.
Now let me
And
ask you a
so,
question. I'm
yes.
sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead, honey.
Okay. I was going to ask you, that it reminds me of the law of attraction.
Yeah, there
Okay.
you go. There you go.
Okay. Am I on track with you? Okay. And so with
Most
that,
definitely.
sometimes when I'm talking to other service providers, one of the things that, and my so that the audience is aware that my particular service provision is in the area of rehabilitation counseling and disability
Mm-hmm.
resources. And so I'm also
Mm-hmm.
an educator. And so that follows in under two different branches of service providers. There are a lot of different types of service providers out there. We are talking about the service providers, my friends, who serve the underserved. See, that's a whole
Mm-hmm.
different type of psychology when you talk about that type of
Yes.
service. Because going back to what you said a moment ago, that law of attraction, you know, are we attracting to us the kinds of clients that we can really help? Because one of the things that I find a lot, believe it or not, is that many service providers are going through the same thing, Dr. Jewel, that that the clients are going through. And in other words,
Which
the
makes
struggle,
their
I call it the struggle to juggle,
uh-huh.
you know?
And which makes their experience is so transferable. It's so relevant because you can relate. You see, it's a powerful exchange. And you have to have the awareness that I am a teacher and I'm a student. We have to
Yes.
recognize that whatever pain, whatever disappointment, whatever lifestyle I have that I may feel is limited, it means that I was born to be a vessel to draw into others who can gain from my strength and I can gain from theirs. So there's never a total
Oh,
solution. And I think what happens is that our ego gets in the way. I want to fix it. I want to see it done. I
right.
want to see it finished. And so we have to understand that we are seeds. And the people's shoulders that we stand on, that we will never know their names, but they fought the good fight because they knew that better days were coming. And we are living in those better days. We're living
Yes.
better than they did, but that doesn't mean the work does not stop. It continues because it morphs into other types of battlefields. And so we draw strength from the people that will never know their names, that sacrifice, that work from sunup to sundown, that never had the opportunity to
Yes.
travel, go on a cruise,
Yes.
live in a beautiful home, have peaceful days. They were dodging bullets and dodging dogs and dodging crosses set on fire.
Yes.
Horrible. But
Yes.
their perseverance is what we
Yes.
draw from. And we say, okay, well, now we're in another season in humanity, and we have a different type of battle. And if they could stand for truth and justice and courage, I need to do the same thing because the battle looks different. The enemy looks different. And
Yes.
so since mankind began, as far as we know, there's always been a contrast. There's always been the rich and the poor, the light and the
Yes.
dark, the up and the down, the educated and the uninformed. There's always been the sick and the well.
Yes.
So the best way we can help anyone that is not well is to learn how to be well. The best way we can help somebody that's unloving and full of bitterness and hate is to live a life of love. And this
Yes.
is what um, Martin Luther King, this is what,
Yes.
uh, the names escape me right now, but we know the icons in
Well,
history that
Nelson
stood for
Mandela, you
peace. And
can think
when
of Nelson Mandela, you can think of Harriet
Nelson
Tubman.
Mandela, yeah,
I got you.
yeah,
I got you.
Gandhi was the name I was searching for, Gandhi. And
Yes.
I had an opportunity to go to Norway and see the museum where they had, in order of history, all of these icons that stood for peace.
Oh,
And when I
really?
stood
In
in front of
Norway?
Gandhi,
Wow.
I went to the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony and I won an Emmy for being a co-producer of a documentary. And when I stood in front of Martin Luther King's frame, I stood in front of Gandhi, I just bowed and I said, thank you for your service.
Yes. Yes.
What an
Yes.
insult for me to think, just sit back and say, oh, I don't need to do anything. Oh, I don't care. I see tragedy on the news and, oh, I'm fine. I'm free. No, the baton has been passed to us to still stand for courage, still stand for justice, and never get our ego thinking, oh, well, I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the one to save the world. No, we're just an agent. We're an
Just an
agent. We're a secret agent. I'm a secret agent. I go places.
Tell me about that secret agent now.
Yeah, I go places. See, my fight, I don't need bullets. I show love. I show patience. I allow the empathy to shine through. I don't let my ego say, well, I'm going to be the one to give that lady, that woman, that family the right thing. I'm just a part of the puzzle. So therefore, I can go to sleep at night and not be tossing and turning. Like, when is it going to end? And why is it happening? I don't know all the answers, but I know what I can do
Right.
in my span of life. I know what gifts I can offer. I know that I must not drain myself with so much worry and bitterness and hatred and impatience that God can't use me. I'm to take care of myself. Otherwise, I become sick. Otherwise, I become full of the poison called bitterness and anger. And
Bitterness
then
and
the
anger,
haters
which is the
win.
opposite of love.
Yeah,
And fear, of course.
absolutely.
Yes.
Of
You know what
course.
I
There's
really,
only
really
two
like
main
about
emotions.
hmm I love what you
There's only
said.
two main emotions.
I'm sorry, say that again, sir,
I don't want to
ma'am.
cut you off. I was saying there's only two main emotions, love and fear.
That's it.
They're
That's
like
it.
parents. They're like parents. Fear gives birth to hate. It
Mm.
gives birth to doubt. It gives birth to doubt. It gives birth to procrastination. It gives
Yes.
fear to racism. It gives birth to jealousy. It gives birth to competition. It gives birth to all of these
hmm
unloving emotions and lifestyles and perspectives. So the other parent is love. Love gives birth to hope. It gives birth to peace. It gives birth to
Mm.
courage. It gives birth to joy. It gives birth to service. That's what you do, doctor. You provide a service that was born out of love.
Yes, yes.
You see? So there's only two emotions, and I lean to the parent called love. And whatever, however, love wants to manifest through me, I let it come through. Some days I need to have courage. Some days I need to have patience. Some days I need to have hope that even though I see trouble all around me, I will have hope. I will not let fear win. I will have hope for better days. I will be that light in the midst of darkness. The darkness is
Yes.
there. There's no doubt about it. But I will not allow it to snuff out the light of hope.
So you're saying that there are times when you, even as positive as you are, and I know I have been in the room with you when you have spoken many times, okay? And I can tell you when you walk in the room, it's like, wow, I mean,
Wow.
they just know they're going to get
Mm,
some love, okay? But there are moments when you experience, and I experience fear. And what
yes.
I'm trying to get across to many of the service providers is that it's okay to feel that down moment. But what you just said just now is so important that we have to kind of we have to work through it. We have to find ways to,
Right. Well,
yeah,
yeah, I'm sure you know about the phrase spiritual bypassing. So,
yes,
yes, there are moments when I have an anxiousness. There are moments when I'm frustrated. There's moments when I grieve. There are moments when I say, "Oh God, is it worth it? Oh God, is anybody gonna?
yes,
Am I making any kind of an impact? Oh yeah. Oh, why are people like this?" And the thing is to acknowledge it, be aware of it, because if I bypass it, it comes back later to another heightened degree that can really cripple our thinking and our faith. So, yes, in my humanness, I could say, you know what? Right now, I'm feeling uneasy in my stomach. You know what? Right now, I'm just shaking my head. I don't understand. You know what? Right now, I don't know what my next move is. You know what? I don't know. I'm gonna pay these bills. Okay, be aware of that. Don't bypass it. Don't act like, oh, I'm fine. Everything's gonna be okay. No, in this
wait,
moment, all we have is this moment. And if in this moment I'm feeling some trepidation, let me acknowledge it, because by acknowledging, you know what you do? You take the power. You take the
wow.
power. See, you have that David spirit. You sling that little rock. Where did that rock hit David? And David was a teenager. So when
And
he wanted
say
to
that
slay
say
that
that last
giant,
part again.
the
We kind
rock.
of lost you there. Say that again. That last
Okay.
part.
I often think of the story in the Bible of David and the giant.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And everybody in town was scared of him. But here comes he was a teenager, and
I
he
love
didn't
that.
have a gun. He didn't have anything.
Mhm.
All he did was have a rock, and the rock hit him right in the third eye, which
Ah,
says to me he had to kill the thinking. The giant in us sometimes is our thinking. It scares us.
mhm, mhm.
So we have to get this David spirit. Yep, there's a giant. I'm feeling this worry. It's dominating my life. It's controlling me. It's intimidating me. It's filling me up with all this fear. What do I have to do to slay the giant? I got to kill that negative thinking. I've got to control that overthinking. I've got to control this anxiousness. I've got to control this sense of I'm doomed. There's a lot of doomed thinking out here, and we have to know how to
Yes.
conquer it. And you
Yes.
can't
But
you
even
can't go around and say, "Oh, everything is wonderful." Everything is not wonderful right now. Right now I'm hurting, or right now I'm sad, or right now I'm frustrated. Okay, now you're taking your power back, because you say, "I see you. I see you. I
you
see.
know
I
what
see
you
what's
just
happening in you,
reminded me
Jewel."
of? You just reminded me of something I had said to someone who they would just landed up with a divorce, just learned of a divorce, okay, and here they are getting ready to go to work. They're a social worker, case manager, and they're getting ready to go to work and deal with this tremendous caseload of people that they have to see for the day. And I advised her to, before she went into the first client's house, and you tell me if I told
Mm-hmm.
her the right thing, to stop for a moment, just stop and just feel the love within yourself, even for the mate that's getting ready to divorce you, even for all of
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that's going on in your life, okay? Because you've got to get out of that car. And unfortunately, no, not unfortunately, fortunately, you are the one who's going to change the mind of the individual that you're going to see. that's going to need that food box, or that's going to need to be connected to resources. And so the service provider becomes like, in a without the lack of a better word, the angel of bringing mercy, of bringing love to
Yes.
the individual. Am I right
Right.
in sharing that? And you can expound on that, please.
I know where your heart is when you said that, but there's a reality that when people are hurting and they don't acknowledge it and they're not telling the truth to themselves, they disguise it and it comes out later. So I'm sure that she wanted to embrace your leadership and your example. But the thing is, let me give you an example. I have a
Okay.
7-year-old. I have a 7-year-old grandson, and every once in a while, if I take the iPad from him or something he does that I think is not appropriate, and he'll pout and he'll just cross his arms and he like, and I'll say, "So you're not feeling good right now, Cody? Okay, well, sit down. And when you stop feeling like that, let me know." I
Hmm.
allow him to feel it because now I've taken the sting out. Like, wait a minute, she's not combative. Oh, she's not fussing at me. She's not yelling at me. She's not judging me. I'm not judging you for feeling angry. Okay, you're upset with me. That's human. So go over there and sit down, take a breath. And when you feel like coming back to yourself, and I can see that smile again, then we'll move on. I never judge someone when they're feeling out of sorts. We must
So
acknowledge it and say, "Oh my God, I'm sorry that you're feeling that way right now. Let's stop and take a breath, okay? Now, I see it in your face. I can see you're
yeah.
tense. I can see you're upset. Okay, let's sit with that a minute. Wow, I'm so sorry you're feeling that way. Why don't you take a break for a minute and then see now you've taken the power out of the anger
Oh, so it was okay
because
to tell her to take that breath. It was okay to tell her to take the
absolutely
breath before she went
right.
in.
But
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 then when
but
she gets
but
in,
what
how do you handle it when you get in there? Not to carry what the crap that you've been going through in your own personal life over to what they're going through, because they're going to have their own struggles. Do you know what I mean?
right.
And I know you've dealt
And
with
so
this
what I
before.
hear, what I hear in that a little bit is sometimes we make people feel more obligated to other people than to ourselves. Like
Oh,
they're more important. They're more important right now. No, I'm important right now. I'm hurting.
oh,
I, I,
wow. Okay.
I'm important right now, and I can't do anything for that person unless you acknowledge my pain. Do you see? Can I tell my story? Can I just feel it so I can let it out, so I can exhale? Because if I gotta hold my breath to make sure somebody else is okay, what about me? What about my pain? Can I
You
give a
know what you
voice
just
to it? What?
answered? Oh, I'm
Hmm?
sorry. You just
So
answered.
what I'm saying is that we want to be able to give that person a chance to voice it, because in
Yeah.
the voicing and acknowledging of it, it takes away some of the sting and the power of it, because it's
Wow.
called suppressing it. Let's push it down right now because you got to take care of everybody else. Let's push it down. No, 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 not now. And that's what I
Ah,
said. What I do with
yes.
my grandson. I said, "Oh, you feeling that? Okay, you have a right to feel that. So go and sit down and and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not being judged. Wait a minute, I'm getting a time out without being judged. And it takes the sting away, it takes the power away. Because you see, we all have different personalities.
Yes.
So for me to demand that you be sweet all the time is unrealistic. There are going to be times he's going to be frustrated, he's going to be impatient, he's going to want to run, he's going to want to do things. It's like, but right now, I see a side of you that okay, that's what's showing up right now. Okay, sit right there. Now, when you get finished with that feeling, come on over here. It's
Wow.
like, wow. See, shaming and feeling guilty about taking care of everybody else is part of, and I'm just
Oh,
going in this direction for a minute. It's part of what the church does. It's part of what people do to us. They make us feel bad for feeling sad. Oh,
yeah.
you know what? You shouldn't be feeling that. What? I'm not supposed to feel. And if you don't do it, you need to, there's children in Africa starving. Well, what about me? I'm here in America and I'm hungry. You see? So
Yeah, just recently, one of our clients called up and talked about the fact that her case manager had talked to her very rudely. And
Mm.
a week later, the case manager actually admitted to her that, and that's why I brought up the divorce thing, because the case manager admitted that she had gone through a divorce. Also, she had just lost her mother. Okay.
Mm.
And so when she saw her, or when she was talking to her on the phone, she might have been somewhat abrasive without telling her what the problem was. And what you're saying to all of us is that there's a time when we have to say, we're going through something today. So please
Today.
excuse me if I sound a little abrasive,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going through some stuff too. So admitting it and not pushing it down, is that basically what you're trying to tell us?
Yeah, because as service providers, sometimes people think we got it all together. They put us on a pedestal. Oh, you
Yes,
probably
they
don't
do.
cry.
Yes, they
Oh,
do.
you don't cry. You got it all together because
Right.
we have that one personality that shows up with great strength. But we have other parts of us that need to be tended to. And when people don't see that, they think you superwoman. I'm not superwoman. And when I allow you to see me in a vulnerable state, this is what creates the bonding. Because, Dr.
Yes.
Danita, we've known each other for years. We have bonded through our tears. We have
Yes.
bonded through books. We have bonded through divorces. We have bonded
Yes.
through death. We have
Yes.
bonded through triumphs. We have bonded through surgeries. We have
Yes.
bonded through developing our purpose. Uh, so much because we've been vulnerable with one another. And
And
so,
the equality was there, that I looked at. I didn't go into your home or into your life thinking that I had to be a certain way. I had to act a certain way. And so
right, right.
what we're saying is that just be real.
Just be real. Because that takes the pressure off of everybody else. Because they think that's what happens with teenagers. Teenagers are too young for some things and too old for other things. So resentment starts happening with teenagers when a parent expects them to act a certain way. And the teenager said, "Wait a minute, I'm not there yet, and you're expecting me to rise to a certain level." And
Yes.
we put our hands on our hips and we're swinging, we're wagging our finger in their faces, and you better that. And we're not allowing them to know that there was a time that we were a teenager and we messed up and we didn't do the right thing and we
That's so
made
true.
poor choices and we cried ourselves to sleep and we chose the wrong boyfriend and we spent up all the money and we were tempted. When they begin to see that this person that's trying to act all holy and righteous, you
Yes.
create this tension because nobody wants to compete and feel like, oh my God, I got to be like them. I got to be strong like them. I better not cry. I better not, you know, Dr. Nini, sometimes I cuss.
No.
Sometimes I cuss.
Yes.
And
I got you.
I remember the first time,
Well, I
I
do
remember
too.
the
I
first
want to
time
say
I
that.
heard
I
one of
want to
my,
say that. I want to claim it. I do too.
yeah. But I remember the first time I heard one of my spiritual leaders a long time ago, and I heard them cussing, and I was, I was like, "Oh, I couldn't believe it because I never saw a leader showing their vulnerable side. Or, it's like when children see their teacher and they see the teacher in the grocery store because they think the teacher knows everything. They're looking
Right.
up to them. That's my teacher. But they don't realize that teacher has to go grocery shopping. They got to clean the toilet. They have to cook,
That's right. This is so
make up
true.
their make up their beds. They're not God. But when you have this uneven sense that you are not as good or you're not worthy or you there's a lot of pressure on you to do what they say and do it their way, it creates a divide where a person feels like I can't, I don't dare tell them my secret. I don't dare tell them I'm having a hard day. But, for a
Yes.
long time, people wouldn't run and say to me, Jewel, I'm just not feeling my best. Oh, she's so positive. Guess what? I'm not positive all the time.
I have to tell people that. I have to. But
Yes.
you're validating that what I'm going to tell, and I hope that any service provider that's listening to this right now, that
Hmm.
that they understand that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to open up. Now, I'm not saying that you have to say the details. Now, you got
No,
to get clear. Now, we don't want to overwhelm the client with what we're going through,
exactly.
but we don't
Exactly.
want to hide, especially when we can come off sometimes as abrasive.
Hmm.
You
And
know what I mean? That,
superior,
yeah,
all knowing, I got this, I got the answer. Because the reality is that everybody wants to be seen and heard, even a 7-year-old, even an 80-year-old. We
yes.
all want to be seen and heard. So even though you may have a strategy for me, you've got some tips for me, you want to help me, know that I love being seen and heard. So if I have that space to say, you know what, I'm just, whew, I know you told me to do ABC, but I'm just not feeling it today. That's when you stop and you do the inquiry, compassionate inquiry. Service providers need to learn compassionate inquiry. Um,
Mhm.
when months, a couple of months after my son had passed, 38 years old from cancer, I'm having
Mhm.
vertigo. I'm having headaches. I'm still speaking. I'm still traveling. I got the fake up on and I'm
Yes.
smiling.
And people were
And
like, huh?
yeah, and then, oh, you're so strong, Joe. Oh my God, how do you do it? And I remember going to the doctor. It was a female doctor, my service provider.
Yes.
And all she said to me was, what's really going on? And I broke open and cried a river of tears, because
Yes.
she asked me. She didn't tell me what was wrong with me. She asked me, so what's going
And she listened.
on?
Did
And
she
I
listen?
was
She
like, oh,
listened
she
to
gave
you,
me
right?
permission. She gave me permission, because all service providers are not, I don't believe that we exist to always have the answer. I think that
Yeah.
part of providing service is just being there and having the compassionate inquiry to ask the right questions.
Well, I want to nominate
Physician.
you as service provider for the year. I said I want to nominate you for service provider of the year. Okay,
Oh my God.
because
Oh my God.
you understand what we're going through. Let me run something else by you that has come
Okay.
up in all of this conversation, and that is about the bosses, about the way we look at now. Number one, looking at the government, the way the government, we have to accept that the government is the people, and we make the rules. Okay, but yes, we do have to deal with bosses many times that load up our desk with caseloads and don't
Mhm.
listen and don't even want to have the vulnerability that we're talking about. Your boss is a service provider. The bosses are the service providers for the service providers. We got to
Yes.
send a message to them too. They got to
Yeah.
listen before
They
they
gotta
send us
listen.
out to the field.
Right. And so again, you have to have compassionate inquiry for yourself. Is this the environment I want to work in? Do I live in a fear
Ooh.
that this is the only place that I can work? What is my fear telling me? Do I not trust myself? I have this thing, CPA is an accountant, right?
Oh,
They balance things out in the books in account. That's the CPA, right?
yes. Mm-hmm.
And I say for myself, when I find myself in a position where I'm being stretched or stressed,
Mm-hmm.
I have to find out,
Yes.
Jewel, be your own balancer. You be the CPA. Something's out of balance. So I say, did I create this for the C? P, did I promote this? And A, am I allowing it?
Ooh. Create, promote, and allow.
Yep. See, so
Okay.
so you so I have to be sometimes I gotta say to myself, Joe, am I using my time well? Have I allowed people to disrespect me? And now I'm getting all testy about it. Well, did I create this? Did I promote it
Mm-hmm.
by gossiping with other people and talking about how bad things are? Am I
Yeah.
promoting it by talking about the errors and the things that I don't think are right? Am I promoting this type of energy? Or am I just allowing it because I'm being passive and I'm living in fear? I don't know what to say. I don't know if I can get another job. Am I allowing it because I'm thinking, well, maybe I deserve it? I'm not worthy. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe they know better than me. Am I allowing this type of overworking? And so a lot of times we have to ask ourselves, see, I think the law of attraction says if I begin to meditate and pray and think about what I
Yeah.
really, how I want to live, doors begin to open up. People start showing up, things start happening, ideas keep happening. But if I keep believing and I keep fueling the idea that bosses and people are overruling me and people don't value me and I am feeding that treatment. I'm giving so much attention to it. The universe says, well, let's hear some more. Here's some more.
Yeah.
Is that what you're focusing on? Here's some more. It's like when mother spanks you and she says, you're crying, here's some more. I'll give you something to cry for since you're crying. Universe says, oh, the universe says, okay, so that's how you feel. That's what you're talking about all the time. That's how you wake up. That's how you go to sleep. That's what you talk about at lunchtime. Okay, well, let's give you some more evidence. Because the universe doesn't care about what seeds you plant. If I put a seed in the ground doesn't say, oh, I don't feel like growing corn. It says whatever you want to put into the soil, I receive it. And if you keep watering it and you keep nurturing it and you keep looking at it, eventually what's going to come up is what I put in there. And a lot of us don't realize that what's inside of us is so much stress, so much of a survival mindset that we stay in that range of emotion and stress because that's what we expect. That's what we've always been around.
Oh, yes.
That's what our environment says. And so, yeah, let me just keep believing that because your belief is nothing but a practice thought. If I keep practicing thinking this way, the world's going to mirror it right back to me.
Wow. You said it. I mean, you put it in a nutshell for us. I'm just saying to everybody out there, if you're hearing this, change your mind about where you want to work and what you
And
want to do.
visualize it. And
That's
visualize
right.
it. Yeah. And
I
don't get
mean,
impatient thinking, well, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna go on a diet and 7 days later you get on the scale. I don't see any change. I haven't lost any weight because we have to stick with it. You've got to water that seed and water that seed and water that seed and talk that way and think that way and change your environment. And then before you know it, subtle changes begin to show up because you were patient with the process. You see, I don't know if you remember my aunt Janet or my
oh,
mother
I
and different
remember
people in
Aunt
my
Janet.
life.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, they when
Very much.
they cook from scratch. They didn't have
Yes.
Chick-fil-A. They didn't have Taco Bell. If you wanted to eat, you had to wait for it, and
Yes.
they had to get
And
all
what?
the ingredients. But now we live in a time where everybody wants instant. I want instant results. I want it drive through. Why didn't you answer my text? You didn't answer my call. Where's the email? I
Right away.
put it in the microwave. Oh, this drive-through line is too long. You go to the grocery store. Oh, it's too many people in this line. And they say, open up another line because we are a generation we don't understand the process. People want
Mm.
the meal, but they don't want the ingredients.
Ooh. And they
So I
certainly don't
believe
want the work. They don't want the
I
work.
don't,
They
no,
don't want to
no,
do any work at all. Most people don't want to do the work. And I think
no.
that's what we're actually encouraging people to do today is to do the work, to build your resilience, to do your work
There you
to
go.
build up
There
your
you go.
hope. Okay, right? Don't give up.
Yeah. You
You know,
you
and
yeah,
success
yeah,
gems really locks it in. You know,
yeah.
success. Remember success gems.
Oh, yes, thank you so much.
Yes,
And so
that
I think that if you keep saying yes to a certain assignment, expect that there's going to be challenges. Expect there's going to be contrast. You said yes. You said yes. You said, okay, I'll do that. But you didn't stop to ask the right questions. How many people go on job interviews and they're so desperate for the job? And are there any questions? No, I don't have any questions. Just when can I start?
oh, and I always
You
tell them, don't
need
do that.
Yeah, you have to learn how to ask, like, what is your lifestyle? What is your pace? What is your bandwidth? What hours are you willing to work? What is your lifestyle? Ask ask the employer, you know, can I have my weekends off? I want to go to church, or I need to. Will I be able to get up early to pick up my kids from school? Will I be? So, what is important to you in this season of your life? Ask questions. Don't just say yes to everything, and then you're like, oh, this boss, this boss. The boss is doing their job. They're doing their job. Now, whether you like
Mhm.
it or not, or it's not at the standard you want, then you become a boss.
Mm.
You said yes to that position, but did you ask what is the workload? Did you ask what is the
Right.
options for promotion? Did you ask how many hours are going to work? Did you ask, will I be doing the job of two people? Did you ask what the hours were going to be?
Mm-hmm. Right. The
You
bandwidth. I
see,
love the way you said that.
yeah.
Get
What's your
yeah.
bandwidth?
Yeah. Right. What do you come up with? You come up with some such interesting things. I tell you. I know it's God. I know it's God.
Yeah, yeah. I,
You
I
are.
I spoke this
You're
morning.
quite an influence.
I spoke this morning at a church, and people were whispering, "You need to get your own church. You need to get your own church." And I said, "I don't have the bandwidth for that. That takes
Okay.
a lot of. It takes a lot of.
Yeah.
Just because I have the quality, the
Content.
skills."
You have the content.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that I have that
Yeah.
I'm going to just say, "Oh yeah," and see that's the ego. The ego. I'm like, "Thank you so much, but I don't have the bandwidth for that because if I say yes to that, there's so much more that comes with it.
Ooh,
I'm not ready for that's not.
so many
I
hats.
am not. I am not 30. I'm not 40. I'm not 50. I'm not 60. If you had told me that some time ago, I
You
would
know,
have
I'll
had
be
the energy. I
71
would have.
very
I'm
soon.
73 now.
Yeah.
73. So I'm honest with myself. And I do my own inquiry. Like, Jewel, is that what you want to do? No, that's not what I want to do. No, I'm not. No, that's a lot. No. So you shut the ego down and you tell the truth to yourself. You
Well, I
tell
think that
yourself the truth.
uh, that goes back to the service provider too, saying, you know, how much of a caseload they want to handle. Okay.
Right,
And
right.
sometimes we have to go back to the supervisor and we have to say, and I've heard it so many times, oh, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to her about it. She's not going to listen. But have you ever tried
Right.
to just go in and say,
Have you ever
"Look,
tried?
I've got 135 cases on my desk. Okay. I remember leaving
Mm,
vocational rehab with 132 cases on my desk. Okay.
wow.
And I'll tell you that it does it you have to build up that strength in order to go and say I really can't do all of this, okay, and that ego comes into play. I think that we feel that we can do
I
all
wonder if
this.
we could address I wonder if we could say it this way. You know, boss, I really want to deliver. I really want to do the best that I can. I want to be so efficient. See, can't is not going to be my vocabulary. I can't do no. You know what? I really want to do the best. And I really know how can we work together so you can get the best juice out of me because I'm feeling like I can't bring my best. See, I'm taking responsibility. I'm not pointing fingers.
Right. Good.
I
Good.
feel that I can't bring my best, and so I need to know what can I do to perform at the level you're expecting of me? What can I do? See, pointing fingers at the boss, pointing fingers at the government, pointing fingers at white people, pointing fingers at the Hispanic
Right.
people, pointing fingers at
Yes.
the young people. No,
Oh, it's so
what?
overwhelming.
Yeah, it's like no, no, no. Stop it. No, stop. Ask yourself, how can I word this in such a way that they want to listen to me? See, it's called
I say suck it.
communication.
Just suck it up.
Yeah. But when they say things like, "Well, well, they'll never listen to me," that's called self-fulfilling prophecy. You've already predicted it.
You've already predicted. That's right.
You've
And
already
that's what I
predicted they're
hear
not
a
going to
lot.
listen to me. That's how
The
powerful you
prediction.
are. That's how powerful you are. But you could change the language. You could change the tone. You could change it so that you're taking full responsibility. Look, I asked for this job. There's some things I wasn't aware of. I don't know if I have the skill set or the time or the energy. How can you assist me to really bring out the best in me because I really want to do a good job. I really want my job. I really want to be of service. I really want to make an impact. But right now, I am feeling overwhelmed. Right now, I am wondering what can I do differently? Because if this is my reality, if this is my caseload, I
Right.
need some guidance from you, leader. Boss, you're the leader. Can you give me some guidance?
Right.
Let them help you make the solution. Don't say, "Oh, no." Bring them in, bring them to the to the solution table.
That's
See, I
right.
don't have problems. I'm a solution seeker. I don't have problems.
That's right. That's right.
Because if
I
I
am
keep
too.
saying I got problems, guess what's gonna happen tomorrow? I'm gonna have some more problems. And what's gonna happen? No, I am a solution seeker.
Right now. Right now. Let's get it right
Yeah.
on the table right now. Let's talk about
I seek solutions. Yeah, words are powerful. So if you keep saying, I got a problem with him, I got a problem, guess what? You're fueling that. You're putting that into the atmosphere. You are claiming that you are a victim. You are claiming you have no power. No, I am a solution. I know there's a solution and I'm going to find it. That's what I do.
it. You know what I really appreciate about what you said today more than anything, because I've always called people students and teachers myself. And that's one of my favorite statements that I make, is that we all learn in this classroom of life. It's actually right in the front of my book as my first quote.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
that you're going to edit. See, I got that on tape now.
Uh,
But I'm trying to get the students that come to me that are service providers to understand this equality that we need to have, is that we learn from our clients, and many times, oh, the feedback is horrible sometimes to me, that especially with other teachers that feel that when you put yourself on that level, and your students are teaching you something, then you lose
mhm.
your ground, and you lose your power, you lose your ability to teach.
Yes.
Oh, no, 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 no. You actually gain it, and you validated that for me. So thank
Yeah.
you. Anything else that you can expound on, and being on this equality of being the student and the teacher?
Well, I think it's just a wonderful exchange of energy. I think that when you are aware that there are people that know more than you do, and there are people that know less than you do, now you're on equal standing. Because there's some things I know when I speak to my audiences, I always tell myself, Jewel, be prepared, be confident, be competent.
Uh-huh.
Competent, that means study well. Because when you stand in front of people, you don't know who in that audience knows more than you do. You don't know who is in that audience that is so raw and young and innocent and unexposed that you could say something that would drop a seed and change their life. So I see
Yeah.
my role as like, I don't know everything, but guess what? I am competent. I am confident. I have done
Mm.
my study and I realized I could always learn something new. And I realized there could always be somebody that knows more than me. So I better make sure I have prepared myself. I better make sure that I remain open to learn, not let the ego and the self righteousness get in the way of me not growing some more. If I could thank every single woman that I have counseled, that I have coached, if I could give them money because they taught me things. They
Yes.
were courageous enough to tell me their stories, their pain, things they couldn't tell their own family. And they opened my heart and they opened my eyes and they opened up my mind and they opened up my ears like, oh my,
But that sixth chakra was up there too.
yeah, yeah. That they opened up my mind. And it's like,
Oh,
my God, this person was sent to me. And this is a sacred thing. I'm learning from them how to be resilient. I'm learning from them that I better count my blessings because I'm up here focusing on something, not realizing somebody's got it worse than me. Oh my God.
yes.
Redirect my thinking. I thank you, students. I thank you, people that trust me, because in you trusting me, you have elevated me. You have
Mm.
taught me to see there's so much more to life. There's so much out there. If I'm only looking through my narrow vision of my own experiences, I'm not growing.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
that's the ego. I know what I know, but the moment I open up and people feel comfortable because of my vulnerability, because of my light, because of my confidence and my competence,
Right. Right.
They're willing to share and make deposits into my life. And it's just,
Mhm.
it's amazing. And I get to use their stories, their examples. They don't even realize that some days they're sharing with me. And I'm like, if only they knew that I needed to hear this today. If only they knew I'm going through it right now myself. But in that moment, the spiritual world has assigned me to be on this side of the table.
Yes.
Right now, my assignment is on this side of the microphone. So let me step into my fullness as a teacher. But let me also know that sometimes I'm on the other side of the table and
Very
I
good, because
need to be.
yes, I talk a lot about speaking from both sides of the desk myself
Mhm.
because of my own disability issues, and that I have a case manager myself. And so I'm not
Yes,
just speaking from being the professor or the
right.
disability counselor. I'm actually speaking from my own, and I really, I can relate to everything that you're saying, and it feels good to me to have a validation, okay? Because I don't get that often and I talk to social workers and case managers and teachers all the time. And one of the things that I hear a lot, and that is about uh, the factor that many times they feel that the clients are doing better than they are. Oh my goodness, do I
Mm,
hear that? I
mm,
hear I hear the statement that she can buy Nikes for her kids and I can't. Okay.
mm, mm.
Or she's living in a Section 8, or he's living in a Section 8 housing, and look where I have to
Right.
struggle every day and can't even make ends
Yeah.
meet with my paycheck. Let's
Right.
address that for me, because that's
Well,
that back to that vulnerability, I think, too.
yeah. And I'm so glad you brought that up because that is a very real thing. And I had to shift in my thinking because uh, I have coached and mentored countless women that have socially and financially surpassed me. And I had to learn, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with this? And I realized if I am envious or blocking somebody else's opportunity to have grace or abundance or breakthrough, I'm saying to myself, oh, there's not enough out there. There's not enough out there. But if I begin to say, you know what, there is so much love out there. There's so many opportunities. I am so open to it. I rejoice. I'm happy for that person because that person is showing me what's possible. I had to shift
Yes,
my thinking.
yes.
Oh,
You
look
said
at
that
that
to me
brand
once
new
before.
car. Oh, they got that car. Oh my God. How did they get that car? Oh, they got that promotion. All I'm saying is that there's not enough. Not enoughness in the world. And there is. There is. There are miracles. There are breakthroughs. There are possibilities. And I had to begin to live every day of gratitude. I am so
Go on,
grateful for you,
Success
my
Gems.
sister.
Go on.
I am so grateful for you that you have continued to
Wow.
nurture our relationship. You never lost contact with me. And I am not surprised that I have people like you in my life because that's how I show up. I learned not to be envious of somebody else surpassing me. I don't know what they did to get that. So I'm gonna put a lid on the Holy Spirit. I'm gonna put a lid on the universe. I'm gonna put a lid on
Yeah.
God and say, oh my God, they got a bigger piece of pie than me. That means I'm saying there's only so much pie. There's enough. I believe in enoughness. I believe in abundance. I believe that I've got to put my mind in that state of mind so that I can attract it because I'm talking it, I'm feeling it. See, people look at facts instead of feelings. It's how I feel that determines what I attract, not facts. Oh, they have this and I have that. No, no, no. It's how you feel about it. It's the feeling that attracts
The feeling.
opportunities. Yeah, how
Right.
do you
Because
feel?
that's energy. That's the
How do you
energy. Am I
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So envy is it's the energy that is saying there's lack in the world and I may not get mine. And how dare they get theirs? Let me close with this story that I shared this morning. It was a man who wanted to get a job. It was during the time when there were telegraphs,
Mm-hmm.
and they used those Morse codes.
Mm-hmm.
They used it a lot in war to communicate to. And so he decided, I need to get a job and I want to get a job doing the Morse code. And he walked into the lobby where there were a lot of older men sitting there waiting for the same job. Now he's sitting in the lobby waiting to be interviewed, and he could hear all these machines, telephones, telegraph machines, people talking. It was just a noisy place. And after about 5 minutes, he was called into the interviewer's office. And the men in the lobby said, well, wait a minute. We've been here for a long time. How did he get called in ahead of
Right,
us?
right.
And the interviewer walked out and he said, while you were all sitting out here, I did a Morse code. Whoever can hear and translate this, come into my office. You've got the job.
Ah,
What am I saying? He understood the language. And a lot of times people are like, well, I'm older. I have more experience. I should have it. No, you were not studied. You were not open. You were not hearing. See, you have to be able to hear God. And a lot of people times we don't hear God because we're
yes.
hearing fear. We're hearing lack. We're
All
hearing
around us.
struggle.
Yeah.
That's what you tuned into. If that's what you're watching on television, if that's what you're scrolling on Facebook, you're going to live with a lot of fear. You're not even going to hear God say, it's your turn. Come on. Here's your house. Here's your car. Here's your relationship. Here's your healing.
Right.
Here's your bonus. You're not even going to hear it because you tuned in to the voice of jealousy and not enoughness.
Hmm. And that goes back to the competency that you were talking about too. People you have to have that competency, and that gentleman had the competency that walked in and knew about the Morse code.
He he knew the language. He understood it.
You know, it's like the CPA. You talked about the CPA having balance.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
they have to know what balance is, and it's the same thing in
Yeah.
our lives. Is that if we don't look at the balance of where we're at, you know, is my checkbook balance is one thing,
Yeah.
but is my
Right.
life balanced? You know, and this
Are my
jealousy that
relationships out of balance? Is my
yeah,
time that I spend out of balance? You know,
yes,
something's going on. Okay, what did I create? Oh, I spend too much time
ooh,
watching television. Oh, what did I create? Oh, I'm doing too much impulsive shopping on Amazon because I'm bored and I feel like I just want to have it. Oh, what did you create? Oh, you've been eating too much ice cream and French fries and fast food. And so now you're wondering why you don't have no energy, why you're
right.
edgy, why you're irritable. Oh, you see, did you promote it? Did you continue to talk about it? Did you keep feeding into the negativity? Were you saying, yeah, the world's a horrible place to live, and yeah, the government and the people, and you promoted it. You gave them a stage. I'm not going to give the enemy a stage. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to promote lack. I'm not. There's too much abundance in this world. There's just
Now
too much.
you
There's
know
just so much love in this world.
we have a chat going on. Just wanted to know, let you know that. Okay, I didn't want to do
Oh,
I didn't want to do a full Q&A because I wanted to make sure I got all of your time. Okay,
okay.
but one of the questions that came in, and they're talking about the why me complex. Okay, so you know, the question of this woman is going through cancer right now. She's a service
Mm-hmm.
provider and
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the hair loss and all of that. And one of the things that
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate about her is that she didn't do the why me. She didn't do the
Mm.
why me. Um, but she still does she does the why not me, which is good.
I get you. I hear you.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
I love
Why
that.
not me? You know, who are we not to, you know, to say that we are exempt from those things, especially a lot of people get into the field that we're in to be service providers, to work with the most underserved people in the world, because we do want to feed our ego. And that's unfortunate because that's where we lose. And that's, I'm sorry, but I'm
Yeah.
not, no, I'm not sorry, but I'm just saying to you that I hope that that is not who you are. Those of you that are listening to this, service providers, that you're not the one that says, you know, why me, and say, instead say,
Mm-hmm.
why not? Because it can happen. And everything that Dr. Jewel Diamond Taylor is saying to us is so important. I mean, we have to take all of this. I hope that for me, I'm going to listen to this YouTube, the YouTube replay on this again, because
Mm.
I didn't catch a lot of the emphasis that she was putting on some of the things that she was saying. So what about this? Why not me? Okay, and why me versus the why me? You have anything that you wanted to clarify for us on that?
You know, like I said, we live in a spiritual and mental world,
Yeah.
period. Once I change my thinking, I've got victory. If I accept what's going on and I say, you know what, this has showed up in my life, I can either live with the wounds or I can live with wisdom and say, oh my God, I'm so much more aware now that there are other people hurting in this world. Oh my gosh, I'm so much more aware to appreciate my life and my family. Oh my God, I'm now
Ooh,
aware how I move through life with so much busyness. Oh my God, this is making me aware that
ooh,
maybe I
hallelujah.
should, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is making me aware that I need to change jobs because um, that job was so stressful that it could have contributed to
Right.
the dis-ease in my body, and
Yes.
so I need to choose a life with less stress because I see that there is a cause and effect. And when there's a cause and effect, now I need to pause and reflect. I need to stop and say, wait a minute. I need to reflect on my life. I need to reflect on my choices. I need to reflect on what I'm doing and who I'm doing it with. This is an opportunity for me to do my own life assessment. I may not like this report card I'm giving myself, but if this had not happened to me, I would have gone through life thinking that everything is going to always be wonderful. I'd have gone through life thinking that I am better. I'd have gone through life thinking I'm exempt, as you said, from my portion of life's issues. I have to be very careful with my words because we need to appreciate the darkness and the light. How do we know there's light? Because we know there's darkness. How do we know that there's uh, pain? Because we know what joy is. If I had joy if everything went my way all the time, there would be no need for spiritual study. There would be no need to connect to other humans because I'm thinking, hey, what do I need? Hey, I'm good. I'm never going to be touched. I'm good. I'm studied. I'm better. I'm educated. I'm this. I've served. I've tithed. I've done all the right things. So surely nothing's going to happen to me. So now when life happens, we realize that we had erroneous thinking. And
Ah.
sometimes,
Me
and
too. Yep.
sometimes that revelation can really humble you like, oh my God, what was I thinking? See, the point is you weren't thinking. That's the whole point. You weren't.
What were we
And
doing? Feeling?
so, huh?
What were we doing?
I'm
Feeling?
sorry, we
We were
just,
feeling in. Yeah.
yeah. So I love it when somebody can say, um, why not me? Because the world is full of people with their living with their portion of trying to understand this thing called life. I love when Prince says, dearly beloved, we are gathered today to figure out this thing called life. Nobody has all the answers. Nobody. And so
That's
when
right.
we
Nobody has
realize,
all the answers. And you know,
yeah,
it's funny. This is actually a webinar kind of situation here that I've set up, and it's under Ask Dr. Applewhite. And one of the things that I ask people to do is to understand that when they send in their questions to me, and feel free to send in your questions to info@whiteappleinstitute.org, and you'll see that in the write up in the description on YouTube. But also that you can always call 888-56-APPLE. That's 888-562-7753. And leave
uh-huh,
your question, leave your idea. If you love what your best, to write into us and let us know what you feel about the show today, the program today. And I say program versus show because it wasn't my dream to be a talk show host. My dream is still to be a good educator. Okay, and
exactly. And you're just using a different tool.
pardon me.
I said you're educating with a different tool,
That,
another visual aid.
yes, this is my classroom. This is my classroom
Yes,
now. Since
yes.
I'm
And I'm
retired,
so
this is
glad to
my
be
classroom.
in your classroom today.
Yes. So I want to thank you so much for being with us today, and I want to tell you guys in all the length of time that Jewel Diamond Taylor has known me. She has known that with her son that has passed on. that we hope that he's joined some way with my daughter, who has passed on also.
Mhm.
And they knew each other,
Yes.
and we were teenagers
They knew
together.
each other.
Okay.
Yes.
She dated his cousin, as a matter of fact. Okay. So, we both have lost our children, and we both have gone through tremendous issues in life. And still, yes, we come out, yes, brushing off some of that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And even though I watch the news, I keep up with the news, but I turn it off. There's a point of time where you turn it
Right.
off and you don't allow it to control your thinking. But let me
Exactly.
tell you that I hear your tears. I see the tears in your eyes. And I really want you to make sure that you listen again to this podcast. Okay. Because if you're still feeling as
Mm.
you felt when you first came on and you don't feel better, then you need to listen to this again. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Because I only have three ways people interact with me. And that's you make me feel better, or you make me feel worse, or you make me feel the same.
All right. I
Okay.
love that.
All right.
And can I invite your audience to visit my website,
Absolutely.
jeweldiamondtaylor.com, jeweldiamondtaylor.com.
I was just going to ask, how can they get in touch with you? And
Yes.
so Jewel Motivates is not the one to use?
Jewelmotivates@gmail is the email. They can reach me through
Oh, okay.
email. Yeah,
Okay.
Jewel with one L, Jewel Motivates, S at the end, @gmail.com.
Okay. And that's
And
your
I'm gonna have to
email.
sign off soon because my phone just said that I'm
Absolutely.
running out of a
We're coming
juice.
to a
It's about to
close.
shut off.
We're coming to a close, and I just want to close with saying love has found a way again, as
Yes.
it does all the time. Thanks to Lionel Richie's song. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Be blessed. Stay in the light. And thank you for the amazing, phenomenal work that you're doing to make an impact and influence our lives in a positive way.
Thank you.